Hey, everybody. Okay, so if we go back about 2 years ago in Kobe's life, circa 2016, it was a really exciting point in my life for a couple of reasons. The first reason is because of the 2016 presidential election. I was really excited. We had just came from Obama. I had really high hopes for this country. And the second reason is that I was finally old enough to sit at the adult table, which was a really important moment in my life. I felt like it was like a milestone in my life because it's kind of like an elite club in my family for sitting at the adult table. It's really hard to get in, and it's really easy to get kicked out. Just a couple of weeks ago, I got kicked out. I was back at the kids' table. I was really upset about it. But at the adult table, of course, we discussed adult things like, politics, of course, the news, the weather. We had adult conversations. And like I said before, at the time, it was the 2016 political election, and we were discussing who we wanted to be our top candidate for the Democratic Party. And I still am a huge supporter of Bernie Sanders. And we were talking about it, and everyone was giving their opinions, and I was just kind of sitting back, just like, I don't agree. I guess it's right. And when I was thinking to myself, I was having a mental debate on whether I should just keep quiet and secure my seat at this table, or should I speak my mind and give my opinions and risk that conversation, that awkward conversation of having, oh, well, what do you know anyway? You're just a kid. You can't even vote. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter to me. And with that awkward conversation in my head, I said, well, I'll share my opinion when I'm allowed to vote. And then I decided to keep quiet that day. And now that I think back on that awkward conversation that I should have had with my family could have changed many outcomes. When you think about it, maybe me giving my opinion wouldn't have meant anything. They would have just brushed it off and didn't care. Or I could have influenced something. I could have influenced one person. I could have influenced two people, or I could have influenced the whole room. And that whole room could have influenced 10 more people and 10 more people. And when I think about that, I just kind of get upset with myself because it's like, maybe if I had shared my opinion, then Donald Trump wouldn't be president right now. But I didn't, and it's hard not to blame myself, but I move past it every day. So once you think about it like that, it's kind of like a domino effect. Once you share your ideas and you share your opinions and give what you want or show what you want from this country, it kind of encourages others to do the same thing. And what I'm doing today with this talk is I'm encouraging you and I'm teaching you all to be the domino in other people's lives. What you should do is you should be the person that knocks everyone around you down and starts that chain to every other person. And I don't mean physically knock someone down. That's an assault charge. But you should knock people down with ideas and your visions and what you want from this country. And a lot of people feel like, well, why be a domino? Because it feels in this country, well, as a domino, you're standing alone. That you're the only person talking, or you're the only person giving your opinion, and you feel kind of helpless, or that democracy is too slow, or that your vote doesn't matter anyway, or that the government is going to do what they want. But if you look at the statistics, if you look at the graphs and things and the numbers, there's a clear reason as to why we're not getting what we want from the government. If you look at any graph on any website, just Google it, and shows like the voter turnout by demographic. It shows as the age get lower, so does political participation. On average, from people about ages 18 to 29, the voter participation is 20%. But on average, for people above the age of 60, the voting age is 70%. And that's a huge difference. And that's why everything in the government seems so stagnant and seems so slow, and like things aren't changing, because the same people who are voting have been voting for the same thing for years. And then the people who want new things and want change and want things to be different aren't coming out like they're supposed to, like the elders, They're coming out, and they're coming out big, like a party. They go and they vote. They take their day off and they vote. But our young adults are not. They don't feel that it's important. but they also want things to change, which is kind of counterproductive because it's like, how can you want change, but you're not advocating for it through your votes? If you don't like something, you need to try and vote it out. You need to come together and vote it out. If you want something done for your government, you need to try and vote it in. If you want things to stay the same, don't just be like, oh, it's the same, I won't vote. You still need to vote. The most effective way to incite change in your government and in your society is to vote, because it's concrete and it holds the most power. Once you go to the polls and you register to vote and you go to the poll and you submit your entry, nobody can take that away from you. Your vote is your vote no matter what. But then there's the situation for people who can't vote. There's millions of people in this country who can't vote, and that's an entire other TED Talk. But they still function in this society as members. What happens to them still matters. They still pay taxes, they still work, they still drive on the roads, and they're still a part of the education system. And these people include minors, felons, immigrants, and they often feel silenced because they can't participate in decisions that affect them every day. But if you think about it, voting isn't the only way. Even though it's important, it's not the only way. Our First Amendment right was not given to us for no reason. Every single person in this room needs to use that First Amendment right to utilize it to the best of their ability. And I'm not just saying speech, I'm talking petition, assembly, press. You need to speak out against the government, or speak for the government, or just speak for what you believe in general, because it's important to you and affects you and your family and the people around you every day. A lot of people feel like just because it's not voting, or if it's talking or giving your opinion, that it's not effective or it doesn't matter. But if you just look back at history, on millions of, or not millions, hundreds of things were affected by talking and giving your opinion and not only voting. For example, the civil rights movement. They came together in numbers. They talked, they wrote, they petitioned, they protested, and they got what they needed. And we're still kind of working on it today, but they moved on and they got towards a goal for equality for African American people, because they talked and they came together in numbers. And you don't necessarily need a huge audience like a TED Talk audience to spread your opinion. It's a big audience or a small audience, it doesn't matter. You could be talking to your best friend or your neighbor or a classroom, a TED Talk audience, or if for some reason you have a slot on ABC News to give your opinion, take that time to talk about what you want from your government, because your silence, it doesn't serve anyone, because our system it counts on our silence to keep what's going on the same. It counts on us being quiet and not saying what we feel and what we want, to keep everything continuous. If we want change, we have to talk, we have to speak up, we have to vote, we have to participate. If you want to keep things the same, then stay silent, but that's not what we want. And a lot of people also feel disencouraged because they don't know everything about politics. And people always say, oh, well, you don't know anything about politics, why are you even speaking? But you're still affected by it. You still have a reason to talk. So you don't need to know every foreign policy or every senator or every political word to ever exist to be involved in politics. You just need your opinion, and you just need someone to listen. You don't have to be the most articulate person in the world to give your political opinion. You just need to be able to give it. And so with all of this being said, I have a challenge for everybody in the audience to get done before the end of the week. 3 things. First, if you are eligible to vote, register to vote. If you can, register to vote, and I'm not just talking presidential elections. Just because it's the most broadcast doesn't mean it's the most important. You need to vote in state, and you need to vote locally. Your second thing is you need to have a conversation with someone around you about what you want from this government, whether it be new potholes being fixed in Houston, because you know those are bad. If you want a better education system, net neutrality, gun laws, if you want that to be changed, then you talk about it, and you talk about it with somebody. And whether it's just someone, your best friend with the same opinion as you, or your enemy with an opposing opinion. Just talk about it. And the third thing you need to do is find a reliable news source where you can keep up things that are going on in politics, with things that are going on in politics. Preferably not Facebook or Twitter or Fox News, because, you know, because it's Fox News. But something that's unbiased and something that'll keep you updated with what's going on in this country. And with that, I know it sounds like a lot to do, but I know y'all can do it, and I know y'all can be the big domino, and I know we can help change the world. Thank you.